In our discussion while we're driving around rural Georgia today, we're going to talk about the idea of the tragedy of the commons and how it fits into the modern concept of data commons and AI. I suppose we should start with a brief overview of the tragedy of the commons concept before moving on to how it might apply in the digital world, especially as a shared resource for AI training purposes. The tragedy of the commons typically occurs when a resource possesses two key characteristics. It is rivalrous, meaning one person's use diminishes its availability for others, and non-excludable, meaning it is difficult to prevent people from using it. In such situations, individuals are incentivized to maximize their own consumption of the shared resource, leading to its overexploitation and eventual depletion. This disconnect between individual rationality and collective well-being lies at the heart of the tragedy. While it appears logical for each person to maximize their use of a freely available resource, this behavior, when adopted by everyone, results in collective ruin. Another aspect is what's known as the commons dilemma, where individuals' short-term selfish interests clash with long-term group interests and the common good. We can find several examples of this in recent history, such as overfishing in the Grand Banks fisheries in the 1960s into the 1970s, the Dust Bowl in the American Midwest in the 1930s, and the rapid demise of the passenger pigeon and Carolina parakeet in the late 19th century. In these cases, technological advancements, from sonar fish finding to small gas-powered tractors to repeating firearms, made a bountiful resource become depleted in a short time period. Some also point out how heavy modern-day use of petroleum products can also cause a tragedy of the commons by releasing greenhouse gases and contributing to air pollution. Some mid-20th century thinkers like Garrett Hardin and Paul Ehrlich expressed doom and gloom perspectives on pollution and overpopulation. However, others, such as Elinor Ostrom, a Nobel laureate in economics, criticized the doomer approach, arguing that it oversimplifies human behavior and ignores the potential for collective action and self-regulation within communities. They point out that historically, many communities have successfully managed shared resources through cooperation and local governance, challenging the deterministic view of the tragedy. For example, in the U.S. Dust Bowl region, sustainable farming techniques were introduced to mitigate the loss of topsoil. In ocean fishing areas, international regulations have been implemented to prevent overfishing and to maintain stable fish populations. With petroleum, we've developed more efficient gasoline engines while developing alternative power sources. On overpopulation, some current-day policy analysts think we vastly overreacted in this area, leading to a demographic collapse in several countries. Maybe I'll explore this one in another video. But I think that even with several success stories under our belts, the core principles of the tragedy of the commons remain relevant, particularly in the context of emerging technologies like AI, where the dynamics of competition and individual incentives can lead to unintended consequences. We can see how the concept of the commons can extend to shared digital spaces and resources, including data, algorithms, and AI and machine learning technologies. These digital commons of the internet, from words, numbers, images, and sounds, are essential raw materials for AI development and training. However, I think we can also see how they are susceptible to the same dynamics of overexploitation and depletion that characterize the tragedy of the commons. One way this might manifest in the AI landscape is through data exploitation. Large tech companies with vast resources might hoard valuable data, creating data enclosures that restrict access for others. This can limit the ability of smaller companies, researchers, and individuals to participate in AI development, concentrating power in the hands of a few and potentially stifling innovation. This concentration of data can also erode self-determination and democracy by enabling these companies to exert undue political influence through personalized propaganda or the intentional spread of disinformation. Another concern is algorithmic enclosure, where proprietary algorithms are kept secret or locked behind patents, hindering collaborative development and limiting the potential benefits of AI for society. This lack of transparency can make it difficult to understand how AI systems are trained and how they make decisions, raising concerns about accountability, potential bias, and the ownership of intellectual property used as training data. Given the ease with which AI can generate content, we have to consider how this can lead to the proliferation of misinformation and biased content, resulting in the erosion of trust in information. AI models trained on biased data, perhaps manipulated by algorithms that express the developer's biases, can generate outputs that reflect and amplify those biases, potentially leading to harmful outcomes and serious unintended consequences. I'd also say that the reliance on a few dominant AI models for content creation can lead to the homogenization of content, where generated information exhibits similar properties and lacks diversity and creativity, limiting the range of perspectives available in the digital commons. For example, have one of the popular AI chatbots generate lyrics for a song, and you're likely to get something about a symphony of ghosts on a hazy neon street. Or, in written words, a chatbot will tell you all about a rich, multifaceted tapestry of whatever topic is being discussed. This leads into another commons factor with AI, the erosion of human expertise. Over-reliance on AI-generated content might discourage human creativity and contribution to the digital commons, leading to a decline in the quality and diversity of information available. After all, if you can have AI generate a paper, song, or image for you in seconds, why should you take the time to learn how to write, play an instrument, or draw yourself? The bigger problem in this situation is the creation of an AI feedback loop, where AI models are trained on increasingly homogeneous and potentially lower quality data that further reduces the value of the output. While I'm mostly a fan of AI, as you probably can tell, especially from my earlier videos, I also think that we will need to take steps to avoid the tragedy of the commons with AI. I do encourage open source AI development, sharing data and algorithms, and encouraging collaboration between researchers, developers, and users to help prevent the concentration of power and promote equal access to AI resources. I also think we'll need to establish clearer and better ethical guidelines, standards, and regulations for AI development, training, and use. This might be a bit tricky, especially when writers and artists make their work available to the general public. It also can make it available for AI training. Can we prevent misuse and ensure that AI aligns with societal values by addressing these issues of ownership and transparency? That's a good question, but I hope we can work out these thorny issues over the next few years for the benefit of the common good. I'd primarily like to see any regulations that come down the pike give individuals greater control over their data and ensuring that AI systems are trained and used in ways that respect individual rights, as well as intellectual and creative property. This would include implementing better data privacy regulations, promoting data transparency, especially in the source training materials, and empowering individuals to make informed decisions about how their data is collected and used. The tragedy of the commons shows us that there are potential pitfalls in AI development and use. By recognizing the dynamics of overexploitation and depletion in the digital commons, we can take proactive steps to ensure that AI benefits society as a whole, rather than exacerbating existing issues or leading to unintended negative consequences. And, as we've seen from similar historical examples, the story of AI and the commons is not predetermined. After all, AI has the potential to provide new tools for improving our lives, just like inventions ranging from the wheel to the printing press to personal computers. But we need to remain aware of the risks of technological advancement in the development of AI. After all, we don't want to see armed AI dog robots hunting people down like in that Black Mirror episode. What do you think about AI in relation to the tragedy of the commons concept? Do you think the potential harm outweighs the good? What restrictions, if any, would you like to place on AI development, training, and use? Let me know what you think in the comments. And do the like and subscribe thing to feed the data commons for YouTube's AI algorithm. After all, it depends on you to maintain the quality and diversity of its data. Thanks for joining me on this drive. Your feedback is always appreciated. I hope to see you again soon.